Why didn't you?
Ooh, okay. Excuse me.
So today we're here in a bipartisan fashion to show leadership in an effort to end this senseless violence. It can be ended.
You have a way, but I don't want to get into it because we found a way in other states, later. Excuse me.
And again?
Because we found a way in other states, later. Excuse me.
Everything was fine. We did nothing wrong, and everybody knows it.
You're not concerned then with your own voice on those recordings?
My voice was fine.
That I am willing to go to jail if that's what it takes for our country to win and become a democracy again.
I'm so sorry. I was laughing the whole thing. I lost it. I was trying to keep it together, but all right. Welcome to the show. This is the Trump holiday special. We figured this is our last show of the year, that we would dedicate it all to the fascist gas bag himself, Adolf Hitler, aka Donald Trump. Mike, how you doing? How was your holiday?
My holiday was delightful and stressful, the way I guess they're all supposed to be. How about yourself?
I know, right? It's like when I don't understand. I always see pictures of people celebrating Christmas, and I'm like, man, I'm like the bah humbug guy. I'm like, when is this holiday gonna be over with?
Within like 5 minutes, my wife and I were both like, no, I don't want to be here.
I guess if you're rich, you can have fun and you get to buy people presents and enjoy yourself and do all that family stuff. But when you're poor, it's like you just have to endure it. Or you go into debt just to buy people a couple presents, and
People
it takes
do
3
that.
years to pay it off.
People do it because the appearance and the expectation are more important than reality sometimes. But I can understand that in the reality we live in with Adolf Hitler giving marching orders on Twitter or shit social or whatever.
Yeah. So the reason we started with that video is because this was probably the best Christmas present I could have ever gotten. The #1 trending hashtag in the world on Christmas Eve was #trumpsmells. And we scoured the internet for pictures of and there's actually a lot of pictures with
I gotta tell you, none of this is new because people have been giving him, pun intended, shit for these photos the entire time he's been in the presidential spotlight, and like everyone just laughs it off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, just that video alone. When Jeremy first showed that to me, I thought he put in all of those farts.
No, not all of them.
He did not.
I forgot to display that.
There's actually recordings. Now, look, everybody farts. There's a book about it. Everybody poops. I'm sure the right wants to ban it because they don't believe in talking to kids about buttholes. But like the president just farting all the time, it's too much. You got to hold that stuff in. You got to hold it in.
It's so funny. Because I did obviously have a little fun with the video and a little fun with the video editing, and some of those farts obviously are put in there for humor. But the one that is definitely real is the one where he's sitting next to Dianne Feinstein, and you can rewatch it when you want. And you can see in her face. There's 2 of them. The first one, she's like, "Oh my God, that just happened." The second fart actually disrupts his train of thought.
It's a quick little double fart.
Throws him off. It's the funniest. That's why I was cracking up, because the second part, he lost his train of thought completely.
Look, it is important. It is important not to lose sight that fart jokes are amazing. And if our politicians and our leaders are going to just treat our country like a joke, we are going to talk about them like they're a joke. So today we have the poopy Trump special. That's what we got. That's what we're talking about.
Exactly. But yeah, apparently there's a video of him next to the Pope where he looks like he should, judging by the Pope's face, Trump shit himself right next to the Pope.
Oh,
I
my
swear
God.
it's out there. I couldn't find it for the cut, but
do you think he farted near the Queen? Like, remember when he was walking in front of her? You think he was just like brown winding her?
He probably was, man, the whole time. But I don't think he could control it. Like, I think he's at the point. The guy has to be on so many stimulants just to keep going, because I mean the guy's tweeting it or truthing it, whatever you want to call it.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, the whole time. And so the guy, I think, has been on so many stimulates. He's literally lost control of his asshole at this point.
He's got a floppy sphincter.
It speaks for itself.
He's got like an old balloon knot after you let the air out.
Yeah. So all right. So let's move on from Donnie diaper poopy pants.
All right, we do have some seriously disturbing stuff in here. I almost said shit, but I'm trying to get away from it.
It's kind of mixed in with craziness. All right, the next most ridiculous thing, and he talks about this all the time, is Donald Trump's obsession with windmills and whales. The guy keeps going on in speech after speech, going, the whales are beaching themselves because of the wind turbines.
Oh my god!
And he said this on multiple occasions. So let me go ahead and play this video real quick I made, and then we'll just kind of
you be the judge what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And then they kill all the whales, right? They kill all the whales out there, and then they say that for boat manufacturers, the boat can't go more than 2 miles an hour because we don't want to hurt the whales, even though there's only been one recorded incident of that in 50 years. And they say the noise causes cancer. You told me that one, okay? You know. But all the time now, we see whales washing up on shore because of the wind, those big wind turbines they're building out in the ocean that are unbelievably expensive. In fact, but you have a better chance of being struck by lightning than hitting a whale with your boat. And of course, it's like a graveyard for birds. With a boat speed limit of less than 11 miles an hour, about 10 miles an hour. In other words, like a slow golf cart. It's like think of it, along the entire eastern part of our country. This is supposedly in the name of preventing whale strikes. You know. But on the other hand, their windmills are causing whales to die in numbers never seen before. Nobody does anything about that. They're washing up ashore. I saw it this weekend, 3 of them.
Three of them.
Did he not know what the word east, like seaboard is? Is that where he confused himself? The entire eastern part of our country.
Yeah. I mean, like, does anybody believe that Donald Trump gives a flying F about whales?
No.
If
McDonald's put out a McWhale and someone said all the people are eating it, he would eat all the McWhales.
He would eat all the McWhales. He'd be having DoorDash right to his house. I promise you that.
Definitely, he'd have whale nuggets.
Now, all right. So Mike thinks I'm a little crazy, but obviously every scientist is like, no, the windmills in the ocean are not making whales beach themselves.
Doesn't happen.
Stupidest thing ever.
Doesn't happen.
So it bothers me. Like, why does he keep saying this? Why does he keep talking about whales?
It's a pet peeve of his. A pet peeve.
This is what I've come up with, and I can't prove that this is right, but the country of Wales is having some issues with the noise from wind turbines. So I'll go ahead and just read this. Health impacts of wind turbine noise. This is this is right out of Public Health Wales, the country, not actual freaking Wales. Some people living near turbines reported sleeplessness and stress. Stress, tension, and irritation can be linked with the perception that they're being a noise rather than the noise itself. Visual dissatisfaction from turbines can influence people's perception of noise. Evidence pointed strongly towards the visual impact of turbines, so on and so forth. So I'm almost positive that somebody went to Donald Trump and was like, man, Wales is really having a tough time with these wind turbines, and didn't tell him it was the country Wales. So he just started going around saying whales are beaching themselves.
I just want to point out that it literally says in the portion that Jeremy just read that the reports are from people sleeping in proximity to wind turbines, because that report is from people who live in areas where the turbines are on land.
Right.
The whales that Donald Trump might be talking about are in the sea. No one's sleeping near those. So, but he also very well could, and you could imagine it, it wouldn't take that big of a stretch in the imagination. I've been told that we now have whales voting in other countries. Could you believe it? Could you believe we're letting whales vote? You know, like
we have whales crossing the border.
We have whales crossing the border in numbers like you've never seen. We're going to have whales in every corner. next to the taco trucks and whales. They'll all be voting. Where's our democracy?
Yep, they're voting for dead relatives. Oh my god! All right,
But their dead whales are voting.
I know, right? All right, so yeah, we honestly think, at least I do.
No, I can't refute your opinion on that because
there's no other evidence.
Stupid. He's that
stupid.
Stupid.
Right, and there's no other evidence to point otherwise, like saying that. I mean, there's no evidence out there anywhere that a whale has ever beached itself.
Yeah, and how about this? You know what though? Whales are beaching or being found on the beach, whether they did it to themselves or not, in greater numbers. And I actually wish I screenshotted this article the other day. It was something about some sperm whale that recently washed ashore. When they cut it open, it had like fishing
nets and I saw that.
Fishing nets and pieces of plastic, and like the whale's stomach was so full of actual trash and fishing gear and garbage and plastic that it probably died because it couldn't process food correctly. So whales are washing up on shore at higher numbers, but it's not to vote in an illegal election.
It's definitely not because of wind turbines. It's because of garbage and all that. What is that? Global warming they don't believe in, that they said is not real.
He's so dumb.
I know, it's so dumb. It's so funny at the same time. But let's get to some serious stuff. So we all know that Colorado at first was a slight victory. They declared that Donald Trump was an insurrectionist, but at the same time was allowed to stay on the ballot, which makes no sense because it completely contradicts the verdict. But then the Colorado Supreme Court was like, no, that's stupid. He definitely is not allowed on the ballot. And immediately, the Colorado courts were flooded with stuff like this. Let me play this video from the Young Turks, and we'll go into that.
It's only been a few days since the Colorado Supreme Court ruled that Trump cannot be on the ballot, but a few days is all it took for his supporters to send death threats to the judges. Now, among the violent messages have been, as I mentioned, death threats, sharing of personal details and addresses, and many of the comments were posted in response to Trump's responses to the ruling on his Truth Social platform. So here's a little taste of some of these messages. This one says, what do you call 7 justices from the Colorado Supreme Court at the bottom of the ocean? A good start. This is out in the open on his social media site. Now here's another one. This ends when we kill these efforts. Keeps going, kill judges, behead judges. They're not very subtle, these Trump supporters. Roundhouse kick a judge into the concrete. Read a post on a fringe website. Slam dunk a judge's baby into the trash can. Pro-life, by the way.
Of course, it's pro-life. Oh my God.
We're not at a point where there's not even precedent for this stochastic terrorism to be causing real world effects. All right, we saw what happened to Nancy Pelosi's husband. There's people getting arrested in FBI buildings. There's people like it's happening. They keep finding more people from January 6th because they keep exposing themselves online. They keep causing threats. This isn't like hyperbole. This isn't speculation. The reign of Donald Trump's stochastic terror campaign is here. They're already acting it just because someone didn't fully succeed yet, although someone might, they actually did attack Nancy Pelosi's husband. But we're at the point where statistically, it's not unlikely for some of these attacks to succeed, some of these threats to be followed through with. And what's getting real crazy is it's not like they're just attacking, one person. They're now starting to attack entire panels of judges. Well, now who's protecting those families? Who's chasing down those leads? At some point, one of these MAGA lunatic scumbag fascist terrorists is going to get through and kill someone. Yeah. And what are they going to say? We never meant it. Their misunderstanding of free speech is allowing them to think that they can openly get away with threatening human beings because they don't like judges literally ruling in favor of the United States Constitution. Okay, so these are the people that wanted states to be left up to govern themselves, to interpret the Constitution, because they really thought behind that decision that they had control of these people. Well, guess what? In Colorado, we have a slate of Republican judges, of George Bush judges, of Donald Trump appointed judges who are ruling that Donald Trump is an insurrectionist that cannot be on the ballot according to the amendments of the United States Constitution. It's there, they're ruling, and they can't accept it, and now they're threatening the judges. So what do they really want?
We don't understand the appeal. Like, I'm going to pull this slide up because I forgot to earlier, and actually it's perfect time to. And nobody's really talking about these foot pads, but let me pull this up here. Like, what is so appealing about this? On the left, he looks like he's either quite literally shitting himself at the moment, or he's tipping over. I watched a few videos, and like on the right, you see there, like he can't drink water one-handed. He can't stand up straight without foot pads. The guy is in a full-on and I've read that is some those are physical symptoms possibly of dementia. And I watched videos of him researching for the show, and there was one where he was, I believe, at Arlington Cemetery, and he was just supposed to stand there and look at something, and you could see him just struggling to stay upright.
It's my bad. I should know this because I've looked at a bunch of things about it, that there is an actual, like, the way he stands is a 100% cannot be denied symptom of a known, like,
it's like
illness,
frontal lobe.
I'm not going to speak on the extent of
right.
What
I just read a little bit about it, but yeah.
The point is that, okay, if that's the case, someone like him would never admit it, and maybe it wouldn't impact his ability to govern, let's say, but be honest about it. Let people know what it is, because it's pretty obvious. If those foot pads are to hide that, or better the condition of some other issue that he's got, now you're lying to the people. And when you lie to the people, now we can't trust you when he tells us himself he's the best health he's ever been. All these doctors, right? The doctors that call him President Trump. Come on.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And then this is his response, very mature response to being kicked off of the Colorado ballot. On the left side, I am not an insurrectionist. Peacefully and patriotically. Joe Biden is.
Yeah, I didn't do it. You did.
I know. I'm not an insurrectionist. You are, man.
I know I am, but what are you?
I mean, this is the leader of the GOP, for crying out loud. God damn it. It gives me such a headache.
This is what an alpha male is. The people that call themselves alpha males think that being a petulant, spoiled brat is what makes you a tough guy. So yeah, to them, Donald Trump is the ultimate alpha male because he is a petulant, spoiled brat.
Yeah. So, all right, let's move on. So the death threats are going to be a common thing. And honestly, I'll just say this real quick. There is going to be political violence before the next election. It's going to be a bunch of idiots wearing Trump shirts and having Trump flags hanging out of the trucks and shit.
Maybe swastikas.
Some of these people are dumb enough to do something for Donald Trump, who cares nothing about them. And I'm going to play this next video to show exactly what Donald Trump cares about. TYT, I played this video clip before, but TYT got a little bit longer clip of it, so I wanted to play it. He's talking to a room full of very rich people. So listen to what he's planning on doing for the very...
I'm telling you.
He's a star, but a lot of times people say, well, this is going to be easy for him, and then they forget to vote. They don't go out to vote. You got to get out and vote, but you got to help him financially, because you're all people that have a lot of money. I know 20 of you, and you're rich as hell. So anything you were going to do, it quadruple it. It doesn't mean it. It's just, I hope you can back him and write checks for him and do everything, and then we're going to close the border. We're going to give you tax cuts. We're going to pay off our debt.
See how he just said, we're going to give you tax cuts. We're going to pay off our debt. He actually says, don't worry about how much you donate, because we're going to quadruple it. That is what he's telling these people. He doesn't care about any of his supporters. That's what kills me. That the undying loyalty to a man that does not give two shits about you. The guy would not piss on you to put you out if you're on fire. I mean, and that's not even hyperbole. That is quite honestly very true.
I'm fascinated by the laughter in that video, because I am not a laughter expert. I am not a psychologist, psychiatrist, whoever it would be that would be able to make the comment I am, but I'm making it anyway. Those people were not laughing at anything other than how ridiculous it is that Donald Trump, if he wins, is going to allow them to do whatever they want. That was an acknowledgement of, if he wins, we're going to be able to own everything.
Exactly.
Okay. All you need to know about whether MAGA is at this point in 2020, almost 4, if they're a cult or not, is that you could play that for them. You wouldn't have to wait for Trump to say it's AI, it's fake, it's not real, or it's edited, or whatever. You wouldn't have to hear him explain it away. You could play it to his supporters, and they would not even hear it. It would not even register.
No, you're right. You're right. They're like, he doesn't, or they'll say, he didn't mean that. He didn't mean it that way.
Well, what he means is because if they do good, we do good, or some bullshit excuse that they're so conditioned to just be detrimental to themselves in their thought process and their voting and their expectations, that they will allow a man who has never done anything for anyone but himself stand in front of a bunch of rich people and say, I'm not doing shit for anyone but the rich people, and he'll still get 74 million people to vote for him.
Exactly. So this man, he's been going through a lot these last few days. He's been all over Truth Social, making videos.
He's losing it.
Posting away. He is really losing it. The mental decline is in full effect. So now, one of the videos that caught my attention was Trump telling Catholics not to vote for Biden, even though Biden is Catholic. So I'm not really sure where he's going with this one, but Meidas Touch Network put this one together. So let me play this real quick.
Under crooked Joe Biden, Christians and Americans of faith are being persecuted like nothing this nation has ever seen before. Catholics in particular are being targeted, and evangelicals are surely on the watch list as well. Over the past 3 years, the Biden administration has sent SWAT teams to arrest pro-life activists. The FBI has been caught profiling devout Catholics as possible domestic terrorists and planning to send undercover spies into Catholic churches, just like in the old days of the Soviet Union. Catholics, you cannot vote for the Democrats. You cannot even think about voting for Biden. What they're doing to you is shocking. As president, I will create a new federal task force on fighting anti-Christian bias. It will be led by a reformed Department of Justice, but it will involve many agencies and departments. Its purview will be to investigate all forms of illegal discrimination, harassment, and the persecution of Christians in America, as well as the use of taxpayer dollars to promote anti-Christian bigotry.
So he wants to form a commission that's loyal to him to make sure that everything is running nice and Christian.
You know, guy who can't quote a single Bible verse wants everything to be nice. Oh my God.
You know what's the greatest persecution no one's ever seen, Mr. Donald Trump? You know what the greatest persecution in this country anyone's ever seen was? When we put Japanese people into internment camps because we were scared of them. When you became president and banned Muslims. That's what's scary. When you on your campaign trail are talking about banning people from Mexico, deporting, rounding up people from other countries, brown people, and kicking them out of America, that is the most offensive form of persecution ever. You have not seen any persecution. You're seeing justice. Christians and Catholics are not seeing any persecution in America. What they're seeing is a secular America, which is how this country was founded. I know you don't understand that word. Standing up to religious bigotry, Christian nationalism, trying to impose abortion bans, LGBTQ bans, trying to make sure Black people know their place. What America is doing, the persecution you feel, is everyone telling you to shut up and sit in your place and follow your religion for once and do it in the quiet of your own home. Don't boast. Don't put it in our faces. Get it out of the churches. Keep your religion in the churches. Get the politics out. Because the only persecution we're worried about is what's going to happen when people who are following Project 2025 and people who are following the Article 3 project and people like Mike Johnson. Those are the people that I'm worried that are going to persecute the rest of us.
Yeah, you guys really want to know what's going to happen to No, if you guys really want to see what's going to happen with this country, watch our Project 2025 episode on YouTube where we read right out of their playbook. I mean, it's the word for word what they're going to do. And we're going to tell you more. Actually, let's just show this. This is Donald Trump basically echoing Hitler on the bottom right here. Illegal immigration is poisoning the blood of our nation. They're coming from prisons, from mental institutions, from all over the world. Without borders and fair elections, you don't have a country. Make America great again. Yes, those are words straight out of, I don't know, Mein
Look,
Kampf, you want to say
the
it?
controversy, the controversy is, has Donald Trump ever read Mein Kampf? Now, I don't know if I'm saying this in jest or not, but I firmly believe he is illiterate. Okay? But he's also not illiterate in the sense that he has to have gotten through some form of being able to read and understand words.
Yeah.
Has he read Mein Kampf? I don't know. We'll never know. Does it matter? Because he could be being fed this. He could be reading it off the teleprompter, whatever Stephen Miller is writing for him to read, because Stephen Miller, his speechwriter, is a literal freaking Nazi who came up with the idea to cage kids. Okay. Yeah. Stephen Miller is going to be the person that is the architect for the camps if Donald Trump wins. So when Donald Trump quotes actual Nazi rhetoric, it's not a mistake. Just like when Moms for Liberty does it. And I believe Jeremy has a video showing one of Donald Trump's stooges actually, after the video was played, saying he didn't say that in the video where he says it. They didn't
we'll
say
get
that.
into that.
Say that.
So before we get into more of the Nazi rhetoric and the GOP defending him saying it, let's compare. Actually, let's read this message first. I'm only going to read the one on the left. I just put both of them on there because these are all from Christmas Eve and Christmas. So on the left, 2024 will go down as the year of the great and fully coordinated illegal election interference by crooked Joe Biden, all in caps too, like a psycho. The worst and most corrupt president in the history of the United States, the DOJ, the blah, 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 throughout the country. But despite it all, in the end, this is where I feel like this is a call to arms. In the end, there will be a big and glorious victory for those brave and valiant patriots who want to make America great again. Merry Christmas to all. Yeah, that's a Christmas message from Donald Trump. So let's compare Donald Trump's Christmas messages, and I'll pull another one up. I'm not going to read this because it's a freaking paragraph long, but I just put it up next to what Joe Biden posted on Christmas. This is what Donald Trump on the left posted on Christmas. Christ. At the bottom, you can see the last line there. May they rot in hell again. Merry Christmas. So that's Donald Trump.
Very Christian of him.
Yeah, very Christian of him. On the right, today, may the light from the first Christmas illuminate your homes, warm your hearts, and kindle your hopes for the year to come. From the Biden family, we wish you and your family a peaceful and healthy holiday. Pretty freaking obvious. One person's off his rocker and the other guy's a nice old man who has a stutter, who actually cares about his country and the people in it. Why would anybody vote for Donald Trump?
How about this? I don't care about the message of Christmas. If it means something to you and you take value in it, I am thoroughly happy for you. So it doesn't matter what the content of the Christmas message is. It's simply the language that is used at a time when people are looking for leaders to lead. One of them is leading his followers into a hateful new year. Already setting up an election defeat that he knows is going to happen, already setting up all these things.
Is there trying to subvert the results?
Of course. The other, your current president, who is just saying he hopes everyone's doing okay. He can take 1 second to just put it aside and just say something from his heart. Donald Trump can't do that because he has no heart.
And let's point out the fact that Biden probably could have got a lot more done had Congress not been the least effective, one of the least effective Congresses in United States history, which we will talk about in a future episode. I think they've passed 27 bills all year.
27 when the average is around almost 400.
Yeah. So
that means they're not legislating. The legislators are not legislating.
No, at all. Quite literally. And one of those legislations was like for a commemorative coin.
Yeah, exactly. Look at what those 27 are. You know what? Maybe we should do that. Right. I don't want to do that, but we probably should do that.
Before I show the videos about them defending the Hitler quotes, I want to go ahead and Obamacare is another hot button for Donald Trump. For some reason, he has to replace it with something better. But he's been saying this since he's been campaigning back in 2015, 2016. Yep. So let's play this video real quick. And it's just more of the same.
Right now, and also cheaper to you. So that's what we're going to do. Obamacare has been a disaster from the day it was conceived. We would have had it terminated were it not for John McCain and a couple of others. But that didn't happen. So we're going to end up getting rid of Obamacare and replacing it with something much better and much less expensive to you. Thank you. When we win on November 8th, we will be able to immediately repeal and replace Obamacare. My first day in office, I'm going to ask Congress to put a bill on my desk. I hope we're going to surprise you with a really good plan. You're going to end up with great health care for a fraction of the price, and that's going to take place immediately after we go in, okay? Immediately. On my first day, you're going to be very proud of what we put forth having to do with health care. I know that we're all going to make a deal on health care. That's such an easy one. Form a really great plan.
You've been in office 3.5 years. You don't have a plan.
Well, we haven't had... excuse me. You heard me yesterday. We're signing a health care plan within 2 weeks. A full and complete health care plan. I've been saying this for a long time.
Yes, he has.
He's not even good at grifting.
No, not at all. Not at all. So, all right. So let's get into the last part of this, which is we know there's no health plan. They don't even have one drafted. It doesn't exist. I don't know why he keeps saying that. It's obnoxious at this point. And he just wants to repeal it because he hates Obama for some reason. It's the only reason.
I wonder why.
Yeah. And 40 million people could lose their health care if he does mess with it.
Look, we don't need to get into the whole thing because I'd love to, because every claim he made about Obamacare, which is not called Obamacare, that's just what Republicans call it to try and make it sound like shit. The point is that it has been wildly successful. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
The fact that he so clearly never had a plan, and while he was in office and controlled both houses, did not do anything. Okay.
Nothing.
There has never been a point where the Republicans have even put forth anything. Oh, this whole year that they've had, what did they do? Nothing. So the entire time that they've had control, they've done nothing. They're not going to do anything. There's nothing the Republicans care less about than the American people suffering with medical problems. Donald Trump cares even less than that. That's it.
All right. Moving on to the last topic, and then we have a bonus video at the end just to show everybody what we're going to be dealing with in 2024.
Oh, boy.
We're in for a rough haul. All right, let's play this video real quick. I believe this is from the damage report. Donald Trump defending his quotes.
They're destroying the blood of our country. That's what they're doing. They're destroying our country. They don't like it when I said that. And I never read Mein Kampf. They said, oh, Hitler said that in a much different way. No, they're coming from all over the world, people all over the world. We have no idea. They could be healthy. They could be very unhealthy. They could bring in disease that's going to catch on in our country, but they do bring in crime.
Quote, all great cultures of the past perished only because the originally creative race died out from blood poisoning, unquote. There's really no other way to say it. Donald Trump's language mirrors this directly.
You know, your country and your candidacy is in a good spot when you have to assert that you've never read Mein Kampf. By the way, I agree. I don't think he's actually read it. I think.
You know what's really interesting is I love how, see, here's another trap. It's probably not an intentional one, but everything is a trap for him because he's too stupid to look before he leaps. What he should have said is, if he had any brains, I have read Mein Kampf, because every book should be read to understand what is good or bad about human history. Read it and understand how evil it is. So if Donald Trump was smart, he would have said, no, that's not what I was saying. This is what he said. This is what I'm saying. But he didn't. He went, I didn't read that. Like that. Like if you read it, you're going to get poisoned.
We showed, I think I did a post on it a while back about one of his wives. There was a news article about how he slept. Well, one of his wives, that he bought. He used to sleep with a book of Hitler speeches next to his bed.
It probably spelled phonetically.
I know, right? Yeah, they had, it was book on tape.
Look, it doesn't matter what he says he did or didn't do intentionally or not. The language is the same. Whoever wrote it, he's reading it, and it's intended for one purpose, and it is ripped from history. You can't, like, it's not like it's some obscure person that no one ever knew anything about, and you stole it from his speech from 500 years ago. Everyone knows who Hitler is and what he did, although technically that might not be true. But the point is, it's Adolf frickin' Hitler. You know what he was doing and what he said. You can't use the same language as him. Sorry, that's just
right.
What are you doing?
Yeah, possibly the last person you want to emulate when you're on a United States.
My God, you could quote Stalin or Mussolini, and no one would even know, and you'd get away with it. You don't quote Hitler. What are you doing?
Yeah, so this post was right before we came on air. I found this on a True Social feed, and I mean, he's telling us what he wants to do. And 2024 could very well be the end of American democracy. This is a word cloud he posted, but look at these words I highlighted: chaos, control, revenge, dictatorship, corruption, destroy, dictator. What else do we got? Retribution. Power. Yeah, power, peace, nothing. Peace is on there for some reason. But yeah, I mean, he's telling us what he wants to do, what kind of leader he's going to be. Project 2025 is his roadmap to accomplishing that. The Heritage Foundation gave this guy a playbook to follow, and they have his back 100% at the moment. I mean, we'll
Project
see.
2025 is what the right is doing to support a puppet Donald Trump, because that's what he is. Okay, he's the figurehead that got all the morons to vote for him, and the people that are giving him these tools are the ones that you have to watch out for, because since Donald Trump doesn't care about anything but himself, they'll just play up to his ego, and he'll just do whatever they want.
Right, and let's make it clear: the Heritage Foundation of Project 2025, they don't care who becomes president. They don't care if it's Trump or who. They just need a conservative puppet that'll be willing to implement their plans. And so far, Donald Trump is obviously the perfect puppet. I mean, he's Putin's puppet, Saudi's puppet. I mean, you may as well just be the Heritage Foundation.
North Korea's puppet.
North Korea's puppet. China's puppet. I mean, crying out loud, he's got so many people. He's got so many hands up his ass. It's not like him what to say. I don't know how he keeps all the dialects,
including the ones that wipe him for himself because he refuses.
Right? Yeah, maybe that's why he shits himself all the time. Too many hands up there. All right, but this part is what pisses me off. The GOP is actually I know it's kind of gross. Sorry, that went dark for a second. Escalated quickly. So the GOP is like defending what he's saying. They're trying to downplay it. Like it's. I mean, the GOP has had so many opportunities to walk away from him. I mean,
he's making it so easy for them. My God,
he is. He is saying, I'm going to be a dictator. We're going to come marching in. I'm going to declare martial law on my first day, the Insurrection Act. We're going to put tanks on the streets. They're telling you what they're going to do. Listen to what they're saying. It's no longer a joke. They are quite out in the open with this stuff anymore.
They're proud, loud and proud.
Yeah, and like this wonderful example of a congressperson here trying to pretend like it's no big deal.
Congresswoman, you're saying that's what you think he's saying, but he was pretty clear. He was saying that the immigrants who are coming in, he says they're poisoning the blood of the nation. He says
never said immigrants
they're doing
are poisoning, though.
He's talking about people coming
I
across
honestly
the
think
border
it was
in
being.
The quote. We just played it.
Yeah, and he said he didn't say the words the immigrants. I think he was talking about the Democratic policies.
He was talking about people.
Okay, well, look,
not policies.
I don't.
He was talking about people.
Look, I know that some are trying to make it seem like President Trump is anti-immigrant. The reality is he was married to immigrants. He's hired immigrants. I mean, he's not.
He was talking about people coming across the border. He was saying
they're coming
that
over the border.
He was saying that they were bringing crime, they were bringing, violence with them when they came into the country. That is what so, will you agree that he's talking about immigrants?
Well, no. Country, when they do that, we got a lot of work to do. They're poisoning the blood of our country. That's what they've done. They poison mental institutions and prisons all over the world, not just in South America, not just the 3 or 4 countries that we think about, but all over the world. They're coming into our...
He's quite literally talking about people coming into our nation. And I didn't say that.
What I love is whoever that was that Abby Phillip was interviewing is so, like, who is left that defends Donald Trump But like after you scrape up that last bit, whatever's underneath that is who they're putting on television, because that lady just clearly walked into like a trap she almost set for herself. He didn't say that he was talking about policies. And Abby Phillip clearly steers the direction into pointing out what Republicans say about immigrants. And then the person's like, yeah, because immigrants are bringing crime and they're bad. So she's basically acknowledging what Abby Phillip's original, assumption is that Donald Trump is talking about immigrants. Maybe he didn't say the word immigrants, but when he says people coming in from all over the world, we understand that the word for immigrant, that's what the word means. We understand how words
come
work.
from another country. Yes.
You don't always have to use the word to talk about the thing. I could describe a tree and not use the word tree.
Right, exactly. They still mean the same thing.
Come on.
Same shit, different rapper. You know what I mean? It's
Same shit, different diaper.
Right, exactly.
We're
and I
pushing
just
the diaper
love
thing.
how they will consistently and devoutly defend everything that he does, no matter how insane it is, no matter how ridiculous it is. This group is all about Donald Trump, and I may never understand it.
The head of the Heaven's Gate cult got people to circumcise themselves and castrate themselves. Okay.
Yeah, I
Jim
watched that
Jones
documentary.
got hundreds of people to feed their children a death mixture that they knew was going to kill them, and then they drank it themselves.
Yeah.
To say that a cult is not a cult when it clearly is to have never done any research, reading, or even just deep thought on your own. When you have people that so clearly follow an alternate reality, even from the one that their cult leader is displaying, right? Because the cult leader is going to try their best to pretend to the outside world that this isn't the case. But they're advocating that he is saying what he's saying, but because they don't even have a counter to it. They're going around saying, yay, dictator. They're just acknowledging everything he's saying. Every time they yay him and cheer him, they're showing what they are.
They're saying they like the fact that he wants to be a dictator. They think it's cool.
They love
for some reason. But all right, let me play this last video before we close it out, because we're about out of time. But I just wanted to play this video because we are quite seriously scraping the bottom of the intellectual barrel in this country, and this is the type of people that we're going to be dealing with next year, and they will be voting in force on election day. I guarantee that. So let me play this video, and then we'll close it out. Wow, this might be one of the worst ones yet.
Would you rather have Trump as a dictator or Biden as a president?
I'd rather have Trump as a dictator than Biden any day. It's kind of obvious who knows what they're doing. There is no dictatorship with Trump. He cares. He's for America.
I mean, he did say he would be one for a day, right?
For a day, but I still don't see it.
There's a lot of foreign aid being requested by Ukraine and by Israel. Do you support that foreign aid?
Ask the question one more time.
Yeah, do you support the foreign aid, giving foreign aid to Ukraine and Israel at a fraught time in international policy right now?
I would have to say, I think what we need to do is focus on our country first before we go and spending money on other people and helping them, even though other countries do need our help. If we can't help our own country first, then we shouldn't be helping other countries.
Wow. I mean, you know how many times we've shown clips of Trump supporters where they're being interviewed and they'll just be like deer in the headlights. And can you repeat the question, please? I don't know how many times. But yeah, this is what we're dealing with. These are the people. They're going to be out in force voting next election cycle. So we are in trouble because they have all unified under Donald Trump.
They're starting to look like Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, they might have the same makeup company.
And
her and Donald.
I do want to point out that the interviewer asked when asked to repeat the question, didn't repeat it exactly, but actually added a couple of words in there.
You made it more difficult.
Blew her freaking mind. She had no idea what he was saying. None.
Until until I've seen these videos of Trump supporters being interviewed, I've never seen somebody's brain actually short circuit in real time until now. So it is entertaining to say the least. But
I watched so
again,
many of them. That's the dumbest Trump supporter
no
I have
matter
ever seen.
how dumb these people get, and not all of them, I'm going to say are dumb. I don't even feel right saying that.
Separate the politicians from the voters. The MAGA voters are morons. The Trump supporting politicians are scumbags. That's it. That's the difference.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, and again, no matter how not smart you are, they are allowed to vote as long as they're of legal age. There's no IQ test to vote, obviously, or that
Let's get
person
into
would
that
have their
another show.
voting rights removed. No way in hell. But anyway, anything else you want to add, Mike, before we close out our year?
Well, I do want to thank everyone who has followed us by watching our videos and supporting us on social media and following YouTube. I cannot believe we have gotten to 200 followers. I think it was 201 as of before the show.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. It is more encouraging than you will ever know to both of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So stay tuned. We have a lot of cool things, a lot of cool people coming on that you are going to love. That's going to help us really spread the message of progressive media, of protecting however we can from Donald Trump and fascism. And so I want to thank you all again. And Jeremy, I want to thank you, because if it wasn't for you finding me, we wouldn't be here doing this now. And I also want to tell you, screw you, because I put way too much time into this. You put way more in. But I'm really happy. I'm really happy you reached out to me that one time and go, hey, you want to be on the podcast? And I was like, okay.
I know that's literally how we met. I was watching your memes on Instagram, like, dude, you want to do a podcast? You're like, okay. All right. We're like, and now we have this. That's the best way to do it, though. But we're like, we share a brain, I think. So it's perfect. Anyway, yeah, like he said, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're also on Twitter now. So if you're on there, if you could share our stuff, we'd greatly appreciate it. The faster we grow, the better. We're just getting warmed up. If you haven't noticed, we do put a lot of effort into our shows, even though it is just Mike and I doing all the work, all the video edits, all the research. We literally do it ourselves. And we don't get paid to do this. We do it just because we want to. And we don't want to see our country fall into a fascist dictatorship. So I'm doing what I know how to do best, and that's talk shit. So that's what I'm going to do from now until the elections, until people start listening. Or we'll see what happens.
So we're not allowed anymore.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So hopefully one day we won't be talking about fascism. We'll be talking about how good the country's doing after defeating Donald Trump in the next election. But the next election will be the most important election in American history. It could be the end of American democracy as we know it if we don't do the right things. So, but that's it for this year. This will be the last show we do for this year. The next show we have will be on January 2nd, next Tuesday. And like Mike said, we got some banger interviews lined up. We got a lot of quests coming on to talk about racism on Jan 6th, but I can't wait to have her on the show. I've been missing her. And we also have Liz from Stop Moms for Liberty coming back on. We have Defense of Democracy coming back on. We even have some other people from other social media platforms coming on to speak out. So it's going to be an exciting year next year. We got big plans, no budget, but we're working on that.
We'll make it work. We'll make it work.
Yeah, we'll make it work. We do what we can. So hope everybody has a good rest of your year. Next year is going to be crucial. It's time to start. It's time to be louder than them. It's time for us to be as loud and obnoxious as them, because we have a lot of work to do between now and the next election. So, that's it. That's all we got for today's show. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will talk to you soon.